Okay, so in general, I think I'm like a lot of the women that have seen this program or heard about it. Just driven, career oriented. I have the family, I have the spouse, I have what looks on paper that I should be good to go. In life should just be smooth sailing. And so it is, and it's great, but it's just this inkling that there's something else. Like there's something else, and something is just not right. And so I was literally just scamming through Facebook one day, and I saw just a video where you could listen and hear kind of what Cheryl Ann Skolnicki and her company was about, and then sign up for a call. And it was just things that are, in that video. And I have no idea how it was on my Facebook page. I'm barely on. I help with a nonprofit, but I'm mostly on for them. I'm not searching for these things. I'm reading books to figure out how to better my life and streamline things, but I wasn't seeking this out. So it was almost, in my mind, kismet that, I came across this video and I said, yeah, I'd like to talk to somebody, and signed up and had these conversations. And it was almost like that missing piece of the puzzle that I had been looking for. So I'm reading books, trying to figure out how to better balance work life and how to clear up my schedule and how to get better with my time and have quality time with my children and my spouse. And everything is just all over the place. And so this kind of streamlined it into, yes, this is what I was looking for. This is the help that I was looking for. And it sounds nuts because on paper, it's like, what's wrong with her? Nothing is wrong, but there's just something is missing. And I couldn't probably explain that to a lot of people, maybe even a lot of other women, because on paper, everything looks great. Cheryl Ann has a podcast, and it's like, okay, I have the husband, I have the spouse, I have the great job. Boring. Yeah, there's something missing still. And so that's how this all came about.
Got it. And Dawn, at that time, what was missing for you, or what was that that piece that was still leaving you unsatisfied?
If I had to sum it up in one word, it was just, I'd say genuine, well, two words, genuine presence. I'm going through the motions. I'm raising my children. My husband and I are fine. I'm going to work. I'm doing a great job. We're going on family vacations. We're doing things, but we're just going through these rhythms of what people are supposed to go through. I'm not spending quality time with my children. They're just there, and we're going to school and we're going to practices and we're going, I feel like an Uber mommy, and my quality time is looking at them in the rear view mirror. I'm like, oh, I spent time with the girls today. No, you saw them because you're driving them to class and school and all these other things that compiled in their schedule. Same thing with my husband. Oh, I talked to you. No, you FaceTime them because you guys are both working so much and you're on trips. And it's like everything in my life was just kind of passing. And it's like, how did I get to be at this point to where I've moved and we have two daughters? It's like they were born yesterday, and just going through the motions, That's it. And so that's how it really felt at the time, when it was just almost like scraping to find something that resonates with me to where I know I need to make a difference. I just don't know how.
Wow, that's great. That's fantastic. And, is there anything else, as you talk about genuine presence, were there any other things that you were wanting to make changes in your life before you joined the Breakthrough Program?
Oh, God, yes. So one of the other things is, even, again, it looks crazy on paper, but, personal finances. You're just swiping cards and doing stuff. I'm like, how did we spend this much money on this? Or where did our money, I thought, let's go to Disney. I'm like, oh, well, we should probably start saving. Like, what are we doing? And it's almost like you're just on this train and you just keep going and swiping and living and moving. And next thing you know, you're at your stop. And I'm like, I have no idea what streets I passed. I have no idea how I got here. I have no idea. And so there was so many things. There was no presence. There was just completely, I would say, just finances and stuff just took the back seat. I'm like, it's there, it's fine. But really knowing where things were going, I just didn't know. I just knew it was there. As far as what was spent on a monthly basis, I just knew what we needed. And it's cutting costs or being smarter. We were so busy doing everything else, it just fell to the wayside. So it was just the presence. It was just feeling like I was bleeding money left and right. And then just almost a total of all of that. It was just like controlled chaos. We're going through the motions and I'm not really here, but I don't know how to stop it. And we're spending money because I feel like I need to, but I don't know how to stop it. And here we are. And it's like, it's the American dream. I'm like, this is the best part? I'm like, it's kind of awful. I'm like, wow, okay. All right, that's great. So yeah, so just a little bit of everything, personal finances, and just all of that compounded emotionally. I just felt like a mess,
Right,
just a mess.
right. Wow. So, tell me about that moment when you decided to join Breakthrough. How did it feel?
So I, again, how busy I am. I had taken both of my daughters, I scheduled the call, and then it was in my planner, but there wasn't a structured planner. It just happened to be something on paper. And so I'm on the phone call, just the intro call, and just getting information. And I parked at a playground because my daughters were both at a class. I was like, okay, I have a moment. And so I'm on the phone and I'm almost in tears because the conversation we're having, I'm realizing how out of control I felt,
Mm.
how just crazy my life was. And again, you see me walking, I am type A, I'm a Virgo, looks like I'm put together, things are color coordinated. And I am, my husband calls me a duck. On the water, it's smooth, but
Mm.
underneath, I am pedaling and my mind's moving, and I just felt like a mess. But you couldn't tell. And so when we really started breaking it down, and I was talking to one of the coaches, and she was saying, how would you feel if you didn't make this choice versus how would you feel a year later? And it was almost like knots in my stomach. I'm like, I can't keep going on this trajectory because I will wear myself out. I'm not sleeping. I know I'm not eating right. I am just trying to keep everything together and please everything. And I know I'm at the bottom of this list right now. And so when I said yes, it was also a semi freak out moment because she's talking, okay, and here's some costs. And I'm like, I just thought I'm having financial, frustrations. And I'm like, oh, this is probably the dumbest thing you can do right now is to spend more money when you're talking about I need to get my finances straight. But it was one of those things I always believe you get what you pay for. So I could read a bunch of $10, $20 books, but I'm not getting any feedback. I'm kind of reading a book, going on my own, seeing if it works. Read another book, see how that works. But this was something that would compile everything I was genuinely looking for with interactive coaching, with the Facebook group. And I, at the time, didn't even know about the podcast, but those resonate with me from everything from getting my kids to do chores to sleeping and getting quality sleep and not thinking sleep is for suckers. I mean, all of these things go along. And if you genuinely take this to heart and not push off your homework and really sit down and put the time in, it opens up a lot of aha, or I got this. And not only that, but you want to do it. You want to be better. And it wasn't because, well, I spent money, I'm going to get my money's worth. No, because I have one life and I found this amazing program that can help me live my best. I want to do it. And so it was very scary initially because I was kind of jumping in and hope I can swim. So here we go. And this is a lot. I've never done a coaching program. I've never, been involved with anything like this. And as my mom says, oh, you don't need anything, just a nice bath. I'm like, okay, thanks, Mom. I was like, I'm gonna need a little more than that. You just need a nap. I need a little more than a nap.
Right.
So just the interaction with everyone, from you to, the live calls. And there have been times that I couldn't physically talk, but hearing somebody else, I'm like, yes, I'm thinking the same thing. So it's been wonderful. So very scary initially. It's just mostly because it was unknown and it was kind of poking at one of the issues that I was already having. And so it's, just very intimidating and scary. And I know I can do things, but it's stuff that doesn't really involve me. Like I can do outside stuff. I can learn something. I can learn a procedure. I can, learn a language. I can do that. But when it comes to internally fixing some broken pieces, that was kind of a deep breath in, like, yeah, wow, I need some work. And that's okay.
Right.
But I do need some work. So yeah.
I love. And Dawn, two questions based on what you said. One, how did you overcome the financial fear of joining the program? You were saying, here you were working on personal finances and the program is an investment. What made you finally say, you know what, I'm going to make the investment?
So two things, and they weren't at the same time. The first one, when I said yes, I just said yes. I was like, I'll figure it out. Yes, let's go. I want to dive in. I want to do this because I knew I needed some help. I knew I needed to make this process happen. It wasn't until later that I was listening to a podcast, and I'm not sure exactly when, but it was a couple weeks in, and Cheryl Ann speaking, and she said, it's about the time. The money will come. The money will come from somewhere, but your time won't. And that's when I was at peace with that. I'm like, you know what? That's true. The money will come from somewhere. It always does. And granted, we're at a different, some people are very, we have different fortunes and whatnot in our life. I understand that. But for me in my bubble, the money will come. I've wasted that much on lattes in the past 10 years or something like that. So, I mean, it's not just what you get, it's the time. I can't put a price on that. And if all that's what I had to give to get my life back, time back with my girls, to make those memories, commitments, and time to my husband that are valuable, I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And tell me, Dawn, through the program, what were some of your biggest accomplishments as a result of the Breakthrough Program?
I'd say one surprising accomplishment. There were several. The first one is, so I have a planner, and I always thought it was so great because I've got a planner and it's color coded. Yeah, it's a mess. It's like my kids scribbled all over it because it was color coded, but it was so stuffed and full. I just thought that's how I had to live. So one of the bigger clarities too is take it off. Even my girls, you don't have to be in 10 classes. You don't have to be doing all this stuff. Me too. I don't have to commit to this stuff. And it's almost like it never occurred to me to say no, or just take it off my schedule altogether, or just not even show an interest. Oh, that's great. I'm happy for the PTA right now, but I'm going to help out with the room. I can't be a PTA and a PTO and a foundation and the room and work. No, I'm not even going to entertain that thought. So that was one of the big things too, is
Great.
It looks like it's organized because it's there, but when it's 100 things to do in 10 minutes, you're not really getting anything done. So to really break that down, that time study, that was huge. I remember I first did it and I spent a weekend with some girlfriends, and it was like, one of the questions was, what were some of the things that you would take out of that week? I'm like, the whole weekend with my girlfriends. I would have rather been with my kids, but I said yes, and I felt like I had to commit. They would have understood, but heaven forbid, well, Dawn always goes. It just wasn't a good time this year.
Right.
It really wasn't a good time. And so that was huge. And the other one is when we dug down into purpose. And I thought, I'm going to join this program and I'm going to get more time and, work on schedules and work-life balance. It was this light bulb because on the side, regardless of my job, I've been helping with the nonprofit. And I was like, oh, okay. We can do these things, we can build up women and whatnot. And it was just sort of this side idea, that me and I'm on the board and some of the other co-founders we'd work with. But after going through that, I'm like, oh, we can do this. We've changed logos. We've got scholarships. It's almost like now we have an engine in our car. It's like, oh, that's a nice car. Not really doing anything, but now we've got new tires, new engine, new paint. It's such a different story. And I have my girls, it sounds awful. They're wonderful, but it wasn't this drive. I'm a mom, I love being a mom, but to help another generation of female pilots, to help, the women that are out there. And looking at these posts, I read thousands. I just got this, I'm like, I have to help. And so I'm reading these posts. I'm like, we are this small group of just type A, amazing women, yet you take us out that flight deck, we are limp noodles and our lives aren't together and we're not confident. And I'm like, we can do this. We can be both. And I figured if I can learn to do this, I can take some of these skills and I can help these women. And even if it's just one woman to realize that she can do this and just have the life that she wants and not just the job she wants, it would be amazing. And so when I'm looking at the purpose, I know my blueprint originally, it was, I need to spend quality time on me and, present with my girls and, get money under control. Those are good. Those are good. And they almost naturally come into play. But when you're talking about a higher purpose of what can you really do, I'm going to be a good mom. That's just how I'm wired. I'm not going to neglect that's not going to happen. I might overschedule, which I learned not to do, but that's going to come. And I'm going to do that. I have to take care of myself. So that's almost like a natural fit too, and then the finances, that was a big part too, got that under control and a little perspective change. But this, to be able to help these women and to really, what's the word I'm looking for? To really find that focus of, this is what I was looking for. What else can I do? The job is great. I can do that for the next umpteen years until I have to retire. That part I get, but there's got to be something more. And I thought originally it was fixing me, when in reality it's fixing me, but it's fixing me so that I can do more for others. And so it's just been, it's been wonderful. It really has. And so even it's little things from, seeing the nonprofit flourish and thrive, and get these women communicating and networking in ways that they weren't before, to the concept of 6 hours of sleep. That's just disgusting. That's, I mean, it's just so opposite ends of, helping this next generation of women, and at the